All right, everybody. I want to welcome you to the second to none show for tonight.
Yeah.
Uh, Unfortunately, due to some life issues, our normal host, Michael Spencer, is not going to be with us tonight, but I'm hosting this thing. I'm a diehard Vanderbilt fan. I'll go by Vandy Chris typically, but I've got three other guys with me that have been here for a while, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. On my right, I've got.
My name's Kenneth, and I'm a diehard Auburn fan. The only reason y'all see Bama Child up there tonight is because I lost a bet to Chris that I shouldn't have lost. We're gonna give it to Matt.
I love it.
My name is Matt. I'm from Kentucky. Big diehard Kentucky fan. We refuse to lose. And my next is George.
What's up, guys? I'm George. I'm a diehard Hog fan. That's all I can say. Diehard Hog fan. That's it, man. It's great. What a great season. That's as sarcastic statement as I can make it. So.
Yeah, I can hear the sarcasm there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to try something a little bit different tonight. I've actually got a topic list.
Let's go with it.
So the first item on our topic list is the daily results. Auburn gets a big win.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M knocks off Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Vandy pulls out the W against Mississippi State, and we had an ugly, ugly, ugly contest in Bud Walton Arena. Let's start talking there. What do y'all got for me?
Of course.
Okay, so I'll take over here. I'll say something.
Go for
I
it.
told you last week, Chris. Auburn doesn't lose 3 in a row. Auburn beats Alabama or Tennessee, and you told me I was wrong, Chris. They pulled the win today. I will tell you this: Vanderbilt got the needed win tonight for something that I'll talk about a little later on in this show. And the Kentucky game, well, 52 fouls is a little bit ridiculous.
Mm.
And fair enough. I did say Auburn is not going to beat Tennessee, but let's just back that up a little bit because that was before Zakai Ziegler got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and it changed the entire outlook for Tennessee because without him, they're probably not going to do much going forward.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
So,
Mm-hmm.
in all fairness, you know the dynamics in that changed, and I didn't get a chance to walk it back beforehand. But I'll own it. I was wrong
But come on the second one.
on the Texas A&M beating
Yep, own it.
Alabama.
Own it too.
I did say that I didn't think Alabama would lose to Texas A&M, but
By the way, I called that 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
he did
You
call
did.
that, and with that, I'll just say Texas A&M is very good at home. They have been all year.
Mm-hmm.
I discounted that when they played Alabama. My mistake. But in reality, it's kind of a meaningless game. Alabama already had the SEC won. They really didn't gain much by winning or losing that game. So for me, that's not a big issue for Alabama to lose that game. Y'all got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of saw Alabama losing anyway, just because, like you said, it's meaningless. I figured A&M would bring their A game, try to catch them on a bad night, and they did. And Alabama played Alabama. I mean, they didn't change it. They didn't look awful. Just A&M outplayed them.
That's correct.
So, you know, that game to me didn't really change anything. Alabama wins the SEC, right? They have the title. They won the more games. That's fine. But I didn't see anything different in this one that said, "Oh, nope, Alabama, you got to watch them." I mean, it's. I'm sticking with what I'm saying. They get in the tournament, and it's going to be a different monster. And I'm not talking about the SEC tournament. I'm talking about NCAA tournament. When they hit in there, I do not think that Alabama is going to go very far. I don't. Maybe I'm. You can call me wrong if you want. I don't think they're going to go very far.
So I've got one of the comments here, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight it to bring up our next game. I'm going to save Vanderbilt and Mississippi State for last because it was the last game that played.
Hey, Chris,
Huge
can I-
thing there.
Go ahead, Matt.
Can I just add something, Chris? Any
Yeah.
team that relies on the 3-point shot like Alabama does, I mean, and you even talked about it earlier in the season that, once they get off to such a red hot start, I mean, they seem to fold. But Alabama really has played really good, and Nate Oates, who should be a vote for candidate of SEC Coach of the Year, and they've seemed to live up to their hype. But like you said, this was a meaningless game for them, and going into the tournament, we'll see how they do.
And something about that game today too is Texas A&M did jump out to a really, really big lead, and Alabama did claw their way back into it. It was almost like they flipped the switch, and then they, at the end of the game, they just let it get away from them.
Yep.
So for them to flip the switch and get it back into the game the way they did early in the second half speaks volumes about what they're able to do. But for our next game, let's talk about Arkansas and Kentucky. And I'm going to highlight this comment from Miss Linda Skeens. Oscar has to stop throwing his elbows. Teams will start double teaming him, and he's got to stop getting frustrated.
Yeah.
It's been like that all season.
I will say this. For the SEC officials in today's game not to toss him when he intentionally threw an elbow to the back of somebody's head.
I'm telling you.
I've got definite problems with SEC officiating. He has got to learn how to keep his emotions in check. It was two big bodies battling for position in the paint, and that's what you get in the SEC.
Yep.
But it's been like that all season long. I mean,
it has.
Teams have double teamed, triple teamed him, and they have bodied up on Oscar. I mean, if you go back to some of their non-conference games, like against, I mean, he's went through a lot of it this year, and he does have to get better at passing out of the double teams. But they were shorthanded today.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I mean, there's just, to me, there's no excuse.
There's no.
I mean, if you're getting bodied up, tripled up, doubled up, whatever, you don't get a free play to throw an elbow at the back of somebody's head.
No, I saw it,
Yeah.
and I saw the play. It was at the end of the foul.
Yeah. And for SEC officiating to let that nonsense go, that has been something I've seen all year.
Well, let me bring this up.
It's been like that
It's
for the last
nowhere-
how many years?
Yeah.
SEC officiating has been bad for the last 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. Yes.
You're not wrong, and I can actually point to one guy, Doug Shows, that
Yeah.
when fans know the name of officials, it's a problem,
Yep.
and the SEC absolutely has to deal with that at some point in time.
Yep.
They can't keep letting this guy officiate games the way he does.
I will say this: what he did today was worse than what happened Wednesday night in the Auburn Alabama game. And they ejected 3 Wednesday night. So why did you not eject him?
Well, but at the same time, I mean, Arkansas was doing just, it's a dirty game. Anytime Arkansas plays Kentucky, it's dirty. However, you gotta, if you're an official on the court, you gotta call it straight down the line, and they did not. There were several times that key plays happened and key fouls happened right at the perfect time that went Kentucky's way, or a momentum shift happened or something, and the official stepped in. And that kind of crap just absolutely irritates the fire out of me. If you're going to call it down the line. Don't make it one-sided. Don't do this ticky-tack stuff where the other guy's getting blasted and nobody's calling nothing. And, I'm looking at the comments and we saw a bunch of pushing, pulling, grabbing on Oscar. Oscar was doing the same thing to them, but it was a whole deal of you got officials that are either looking the other way or calling every daggum thing they see. And you got it's it's so frustrating when you have 50 plus fouls in a game this big, the last game of the season. And how long was the game, Chris? Was it a 3-hour game?
Yeah, it was over 3 hours.
A college basketball game should not be over 3 hours. I don't know how many times I have to stress this.
I'm surprised that two things that Arkansas didn't take advantage of was, for one, they were 2 out of 20 from on layups, and the second one was, they didn't do their trapping or their full court pressing against Kentucky against. I mean, they were basically playing without a point guard. I mean, Kentucky ended up with 15 turnovers and Arkansas ended up with 6.
Yeah.
But the Kentucky ended up hitting 54% of their shots and Arkansas ended up hitting 35% of their shots. So
yeah,
Arkansas ended up hitting 8 threes, but Kentucky just, they were both in the same boat. They both desperately needed this victory. I mean, it was both teams going after each other. I mean, like I say, it's anytime Kentucky and Arkansas get together, it's not like you had Nolan Richardson on the sidelines or Rick Pitino on the other. I mean, some of the old-fashioned meetings against them.
And I want to give a shout out to here to Miss Chloe Soder. We're in a chat group together. She is 100% a diehard Kentucky fan. I believe she's a student at UK. That she agrees with what we're saying about the refs and the 52 fouls called in this game. They've got to do better. We can't keep watching this stuff. And it just seems like every week there's a game that takes on that kind of flow from these officials. And for the SEC not to address it, it's becoming a problem that's being noticed southeast wide.
Yeah. Arkansas, Missouri. When we went to Missouri, there were so many fouls called in that game. And one of them was an absolute phantom foul. The guy didn't even touch him, just had his hand in the air. And they called it on one of the most key points of that game. And it's like, this is stupid. This is just stupid. And I can't remember all the games. There's been several games Arkansas played in, and it's like, dude, this officiating is awful.
It's awful all the way across the board.
It is. And every team feels it.
And Miss Chloe got me. She is a graduate of Kentucky. She's a sweet little gal, though.
The difference of the game was, Reeves. I mean, he come up with 37 big points for Kentucky, and Jacob Toppin had 21. I mean, he had some timely 3-point shots that really broke Arkansas's.
Reeves
played hard?
Yeah, they did. Is Reeves the one that when we played you guys in Rupp that he didn't play very much? Cal pulled him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every Kentucky fan was yelling, "Why didn't you leave Reeves in? Reeves should have been in there." Well, you got it today, and you see what happened. I mean, you leave Reeves on the court that other game, and I think you guys win that one as well. It's just I don't know. It's tough because I want to go back and watch it, and now you got highlights, so you can't watch the whole deal. But I hate to harp on the officials, but when they make a play, right, and you have 2 or 3 good plays going a team's way, and then all of a sudden you get a stupid, idiotic ticky-tack foul that takes away the momentum, it completely swings the game. And Arkansas just could never catch up. Every time they'd start getting somewhere, something would happen. So it is what it is.
And George, I want to thank you for saying something like that. Yeah. That every time somebody made a shot, that there was an answer. We just got done with a game in the SEC with Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. Vanderbilt got out to a nice 12-point lead early in the second half. Every time Mississippi State made a run and cut it down to 3 or 4 points, somebody from Vanderbilt stepped up and made a shot, made a play, got a steal. Miles Studi with 2 big threes right there at the 5-minute mark to stretch that game out a little bit more and give them some breathing room. That was a really good ball game that was just played in Nashville. And I'm just going to say it, for all the heat that Vanderbilt has taken for the last 3 or 4 seasons about not having a crowd and not having any fans show up at their games, my goodness, that crowd tonight was as loud as I've heard it in at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Last time I ever heard it that loud was when Kentucky played in the 1993 NCAA tournament game.
That place was bonkers tonight. And Vanderbilt got a much needed win.
Yep.
There's a lot of disagreement about where Vanderbilt stands in the pecking order right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to address it. We'll get to this later on, but I'm just going to talk about the monkey in the room. If Vanderbilt's not in the NCAA tournament right now, and a team like Mississippi State or Arkansas is, you just got to scrap the whole thing, because Vanderbilt 100% deserves to be in there.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any way that Vandy doesn't get in.
I'm sad, Chris.
So what?
I'm sad now.
What are you sad for?
Because I can't talk trash to you. Thanks to Vanderbilt, they screwed up my plans.
We were 11-7 in the SEC, and I tell you what.
Hey, but that's okay. Arkansas, they just received the gauntlet because of Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they did.
Yep, because now Auburn's got Florida.
That bracket is absolutely brutal.
That top bracket is brutal. The bottom bracket's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, out of the bottom bracket of the SEC tournament, either comes Vanderbilt, Kentucky, or Auburn.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
No, the top bracket's brutal. Look at the top bracket.
I mean, you got a Tennessee that's reeling from injuries.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas
plays Auburn Thursday.
Arkansas plays Auburn.
Yep.
I just looked at it. They just showed it on the TV. Auburn's got Florida. Arkansas moved up into the 9 seed.
How?
I don't know. They just showed it. Florida's in the 10 seed. Arkansas moved up into the 9 on SEC Network.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll take your word for it. I just saw it in the 10 spot.
They just showed it on SEC Network. That's why I said I'm sad, because I can't talk trash to you more.
Oh. Okay.
Because Mississippi State lost, it dropped them down.
That would be what it is right there.
Gotcha.
Yep. So now the top bracket is brutal. Auburn's got Florida, then A&M, and then the winner of Vanderbilt or Kentucky. So I'm saying it now for the SEC tournament. The bottom bracket, either Auburn, Vanderbilt, or Kentucky, comes out in the finals, and one of them 3 win it all.
Does Vanderbilt make it to the SEC championship game Sunday?
I'm not saying they are.
That is a tall task, but
it is.
They're going to have to beat Kentucky and Auburn.
Well,
didn't we already do that?
It can happen.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you this, Chris, and I'm going to go on a limb and say this. It's hard to beat a team twice. It's going to be real hard to beat a team 3 times.
But remember who we're talking about here. We're talking about Bruce Pearl coaching in Nashville.
Okay, Chris.
He knows his assignment when he comes to town, and that's to pull a loss.
Okay, Chris. Now the top bracket is brutal.
Am I confident in Vanderbilt beating a team like Kentucky without Liam Robbins? Not at all. Not at all.
Let's just ask this, Chris. Let's just say y'all beat Kentucky. Let's just say.
And we get to
you get to Auburn, because that's who you're going to get.
Do you remember our point guard shutting down Willie Green?
Who beat us, y'all? Let him shut him down. Liam killed us in the paint. You don't have him. You don't have him.
We got Lee Dort coming back from injury too,
to
take up that space.
Where is it? I can't even find it.
And I'm going to be a realist here. I agree with Chloe. There's no way we make it past both of them.
That's tough. That's a tough, tall order for any team to make it past Kentucky.
Okay, so let's talk about the top bracket.
Okay.
Arkansas should win their first game. Should.
Who do they play?
Chris, pull it up, because I don't remember. I don't have it pulled up right now.
I can't find it. So
they just go to SEC now. I was supposed to interrupt the podcast to talk about it, but I was like, no, I'll wait.
Well, Ken, I'm not privileged to be sitting in front of my TV, but I can't see nothing. I'm sitting in my office. I can't find it.
Hey, but look, let me tell you this. I'm going on a limb to say this. If Arkansas wins their first one,
yeah,
their next game,
mm-hmm.
and I don't care what y'all can backlash me all you want.
Mm-hmm.
The number one team gets beat by Arkansas
wow.
to take an early exit out of this tournament.
We'll see.
I do not, and I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible. I do not see Alabama making the semifinals.
It's going to be hard to play Alabama, but yeah, they got the thing about Arkansas is they still got
Auburn's still in our bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Who? Vanderbilt.
Our bracket is number 7 Auburn, number 10 Arkansas.
No, it's changed. They just showed it. I'm telling you, Florida is in the 10 seed now. That's what they're talking about now. Because
I can't find it.
I'm watching it on SEC now. They're talking about it. They were like, Auburn got this. What the white dude saying that sits on the right? He was like, Auburn got it easy now. They got out of it easy, which I don't see how, because Texas A&M could beat us.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they're saying this. Auburn's got an easy slate to the semifinals. I don't see how they say that. Okay. But the same sense, I only have to eat my own words. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, and Auburn's beat Texas A&M twice this year. Just saying.
I'm looking it up. I'm not finding it.
I'm not either.
It's all over SEC Network.
Looked.
If I could figure out how to.
The main thing is, Arkansas is going to be gearing up, ready for this SEC tournament. They've made it to 2 straight Elite Eights.
Yep.
Regular season's done. Everybody, this is the start of the new season.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got their point guard back. Arkansas relies on their.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear you, Matt. I agree with you. I mean, I told y'all, not this last week, but last, that Nick Smith was going to start coming in, and he is. He's coming, and he's coming on strong. I don't know if he has a 30-point breakout kind of game, they could beat anybody, but they gotta finish free throws. Free throws have been killing us all year.
The 2 Arkansas twins showed up in Lexington, didn't show up today. I mean,
no, they didn't. And that was a determining factor, because I figured they would be all over Sheboy.
On the SEC, the only thing I'm finding for a bracket is last year's bracket.
Yeah, hold on, Chris. Hold on. I'm fixing to get it. Just give me a minute.
26 minutes ago, Arkansas to face Auburn in the SEC tournament by the Arkansas Razorbacks.
According to SEC Network, it's something different on cable.
SEC Network. I think Arkansas would know who they play, and they play Auburn at 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Yep, there you go.
SEC Network's wrong. I'm not saying they ain't. They've been wrong about a lot of crap. Yeah. But either way you go, I need a rematch with Arkansas anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead and say it, George.
Neutral court, man. Neutral court. Anything can happen.
Rupp Arena South.
Rupp Arena South.
That's what they've been saying all year.
I know it. That's a Kentucky thing. Rupp Arena South. I know. It's fine.
So going into this tournament, there's a couple teams that have some injury problems. Kentucky's got some injuries. Vanderbilt has lost Liam Robbins. Tennessee has lost Zakai Ziegler. Do you see any of that playing a major factor in Nashville this week?
The biggest news for all the teams, Case Wallace.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
But Kentucky played good with, either it was a desperate team or they just played better than Arkansas today. I mean, but I really think Cason Wallace, I mean, with his ability to lead, the Kentucky club, and, he likes to play defense, he leads the team in steals and has played pretty good in the backup role for Wheeler. And,
So it sounds like Wallace is going to be back, though.
well, we'll see. I mean, it's not.
But even losing Wheeler's got to hurt, though, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Wheeler, Kentucky fans have bashed Wheeler. And, I mean, I would hate to have a son go to Kentucky and, I mean, your fans bash them. And it's not a very appropriate thing to, have as a fan. I mean,
So bigger loss moving forward, Zakai Ziegler or Liam Robbins?
Yeesh.
Kyle Ziegler. I don't know.
Zakai Ziegler. I think Tennessee's going to have major issues without him. If somebody, makes Vescovy have a bad night, man, that they're going to be missing Zakai big time.
I think they missed him a lot today in that Auburn game.
Yep. And I think the tournament's going to be more. Who does Tennessee play?
They're
going to bye.
They got a double bye.
Got a double bye.
Alabama, Tennessee, A&M, and Kentucky got your double byes.
Okay.
No. Alabama, A&M, Kentucky, and Missouri got your byes.
There you go.
That's right. Because Auburn ended that for Tennessee.
What a surprise, Missouri. Man.
Tennessee gets the winner of South Carolina and Ole Miss.
There you go.
Okay, they'll win that.
Yep.
And then
so who will they get next, Chris?
Alabama.
Yeah, they're done.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be done then.
Alabama gets the winner of Game 3, which is Mississippi State and Florida. And then they're bracketed with Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. You know what? I would go as far as saying this. You could see, it's a possibility, you could see Auburn and Alabama, which would be kind of crazy, but I'm just saying.
Well.
And then I would have to talk some crap. We would have to get what's his name on the show intentionally for me to talk crap to him because I would lobby for it after what he said last week. And he's lucky that I had a power outage because I was fisting to tell him something.
Nice. A convenient power outage.
Now I can't help it. A dude ran into a power pole.
So I want to give a shout out to our network here, Variety Sports Network.
Yeah.
They've given us a platform to do this on. Certainly do appreciate that. I believe I'm going to give a shout out to one of our sponsors as well, which is Row One Brand. They produce authentic sportswear. And if you like some of the old school 1960s, 70s logos and stuff, Row One Brand is your source for that. If you use the code VSP15, you get 15% discount on your purchase. Just wanted to throw that out there. Say thank you to Row One Brand for being a sponsor here, and Variety Sports Network for giving us a platform to do this show. Yeah. So let's have some fun here, guys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If you had to pick any team in America to be a fan of, if you weren't a fan of the school you are, and it cannot be another team in the SEC, who would you pick as your team?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
You ready for this? Y'all going to think I'm crazy? And I'm going to step out on a limb and say this. It cannot be an SEC, right?
Cannot be an SEC team.
I'm going to have to go Oregon.
That's fair.
I mean, I can give you reasons all day long.
I see Linda Skeens is picking North Carolina.
Ooh, I can't.
Now, hold on. You talking about basketball or overall?
Overall.
I'd have to go Oregon.
I can see that. Now
I can give reasons why, but
it's hard for me to pick one because of where I grew up.
Mm.
But for me, it's very easy. It would either be Iowa or Iowa State. Probably, most likely Iowa.
I feared it would be Iowa.
Because, when I grew up, I was a Hawkeye fan. So you go back to your roots, and that's where I would have to go.
Okay. What about you, Matt?
I'd have to pick the Providence Flyers, the Kentucky transfer who played for Kentucky. He's come out with a big season. He's averaging 16 points and 7 rebounds for them. They've had a really good season.
And you kind of, that kind of makes sense because you do look like a Providence Friar fan. With your hat and everything, you fit the bill perfectly, sir.
Hey, Chris, I just want you to say you shot me by saying Iowa.
Really?
Well, you did.
Providence before.
I thought you were going to be pulled for the other team in Tennessee.
Ooh. They're in the SEC.
No, they're not. There's another team that's not in the SEC.
Oh, you talking about Memphis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. I'll pass on Memphis.
Just saying.
I was born and raised a Hawkeye.
What about you, George?
Come on, George. You're sitting here.
Yeah.
We got to have something, sir.
I got it. Truth be told, over the years, I like how Oral Roberts play. I've always liked how they played. I like how they conduct themselves. They always bring a good game when they play. So I'd say Oral Roberts. I like them.
That's an interesting choice there.
That is an interesting.
They're usually a surprise swinging in there somewhere.
They always end up being like a 14th seed or 13th seed. They always end up seeing.
Come on, Chloe. Come on, Miami. Why?
But we got to clear this up. Is that the Miami Hurricanes or the Miami of Ohio Redhawks? Which Miami is this, Chloe?
Miami.
Yeah, we need to know that.
I always forget there's Miami, Ohio every time.
Hey, so I'm fit to go out on a limb, Chris. I know you're not going to like this. And I've been, for at least, I'd go the past 2 to 3 weeks, I've been stuck on this. I'm going to change some things I said. I'm convinced now, with what I know and what I've seen, the NCAA tournament, one of 3 teams out of the SEC will go further than Vanderbilt if they get in, Alabama, Tennessee, and A&M. I'm going to give you 3 teams in order of who I think could go the farthest in order. Kentucky, Auburn, and this one's supposed to shock you if they get in, is Arkansas. Because all 3 of them teams are playing with house money now. They have nothing to lose, nothing to prove. 2 of them 3 teams, when getting into March Madness, will be classified as a Cinderella team because of their seed. A Cinderella team, according to March Madness, is anybody outside 11, 12, 13, and down. Right now, they've got Auburn in at an 11. They've got Arkansas in at like a 13 or 14. Both of them are Cinderella teams, and both of them could impact a lot of people and upset a lot of people in March Madness because they're going to underestimate them. And another thing it is, everybody knows Auburn does not have a go-to guy. But it was said today, and it's been being said for a long while, they have one of the best defenses in the nation. And when it gets deep into March Madness, that defense could help you.
Yep. Same with the Hogs.
Same with Arkansas. They have one of the best defenses. Now, everybody's going to disagree with me. That's fine. I'm up for the heat. I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. But if I'm not, I'm going to get back on here and I'm going to talk. Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky goes the furthest. I'm still sold on Alabama's out in the first weekend. They will not make the Sweet 16. I'm going on that.
So I want to throw my hand in there.
Come on. That's what I love.
I'm not the one that made the statement. So, Chris, jump on in.
I hate the University of Tennessee with a passion.
Right.
Everybody here knows that. But the number one defense in college basketball belongs to the University of Tennessee.
Yeah.
I didn't say they had the number one. I said they had one of the best.
That's not even questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, if you want to talk about a team playing with house money, hello, we got beat by 57 points and we're left for dead.
Mm-hmm.
We're 9-1 closing out the
Y'all
season.
can do it. I just, Chris, I'm going to have to wait to have they seeded, but I'm still stuck on them 3 teams.
Yeah, it depends on the seed. I mean, it depends on the draw.
So I do got a question. Ready? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
What if y'all don't get in, Chris?
I'm going to make a bold statement. If Vanderbilt is not in the NCAA tournament, based on how they've closed out the season, where they're at in the SEC, scrap the whole dadgum thing because it's a fraud.
Yeah.
In the SEC Player of the Week would have to be Jordan Wright.
Has to be.
He had one of the best weeks of anybody in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any argument there. And since we're talking about some of this stuff, let's talk about the SEC Coach of the Year because this is a crowded room right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it should go to Missouri.
I was just about to echo.
And I'll defend that. I will defend that with everything that I got to say right now. I think it should go to Missouri. And the reason why is first-year head coach takes Missouri to a double bye in the first round of the SEC tournament. That's something that's never happened in that program. And not only that, has them a good possibility they could get into March Madness.
Oh, Missouri.
I agree with you.
If I could highlight that comment right now, Miss Linda, I hope they choose refs that will let them play. We don't need 52 fouls in a game. Absolutely. Like, star that all the way across. If the SEC tournament plays out like that, golly, it's going to be frustrating.
But this is not your ordinary game between SEC teams. Kentucky and Arkansas, I've watched completely a whole lot of Kentucky-Arkansas games, and they come down to fouls. I remember when Scotty Thurman and when he played for Arkansas, and, we could get into that discussion. But anyway, there was a whole lot of fouls in the SEC championship game when they played 1995. I mean, when they had Corey Beck and Big Nasty Forrest Williams. I mean, but anyways, that's
And I offered up a list of names that included Chris Jans at Mississippi State. I think the way they ended the season tonight kind of takes a luster off of that a little bit to end up 2 games below 500 in the SEC. Jerry Stackhouse for a team that was picked 12th in the SEC, and they finished. I think we're 6th.
Yeah, y'all are 6th.
How about Buzz Williams down there at Texas
He's
A&M?
always SEC Coach of the Year. I mean,
you come in there with
2
the number
losses
2 seed.
I mean, he can deserve it. I mean, I still say Missouri though, y'all.
Nate Oates.
Yeah.
For what he did at Alabama, because typically Alabama starts out strong
And
finishes weak, and there really wasn't a sign of that this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this comment from Chloe right here. What about Coach Cal? Everybody's been trying to fire him since the middle of January.
Yeah.
And look what he's done. He gets in there. He gets him a double bye. Obviously playing good basketball right now, despite the loss to Vanderbilt. They've been on a mission here lately. I think there's a discussion to be had there. I think he should be in the discussion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, the only thing is, and this is from an outsider because I'm not a Kentucky fan, but Matt, you can answer this. Are Kentucky fans really happy with the way the season's played out? Because Kentucky basketball, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because Kentucky basketball is, one word in my mind, is domination. If you're not dominating like Alabama does in football and all that, sorry, no offense, Ken. But, like at Georgia, Alabama, whatever, if Kentucky's not dominating in basketball, y'all, it's not a good season for y'all. And I hear it. Cal did turn it around. He started listening to, I guess, listening to other people or figuring out how to do it. Because, with the Reeves thing, why he took Reeves out against Arkansas, I don't know. Guy was hitting shots left and right, and they end up losing. He leaves them in this game.
He wasn't diving for balls. He wasn't
Yep,
playing
yeah.
defense. If you've got to be able to play in the John Calipari system. If you can make shots, but if you don't play defense and dive for balls,
Yep.
you're not gonna. You've got to be able to wait your turn.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to. You've got to be able to be the best version of yourself you can.
Yeah.
If Kentucky wouldn't have got beat by South Carolina, Georgia, or Vanderbilt, Kentucky might be possibly looking at a number 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament.
That's possible.
Or Arkansas at home.
That means they would be 24-7.
Right.
Okay. And this comment here deserves to be highlighted too. Chloe says her problem with Kentucky fans, they expect it to be the best every year, to win championships every year, and it's just not realistic.
No.
She says the game has adapted since the days of Adolph Rupp. I don't think she's wrong there.
No.
He's not.
We've been scored way too many times for Kentucky fans. We've been scored way too many times. I mean,
yes,
you've got to be the best version of yourself you can be. That's the John Calipari way. He cares about his players.
Right.
And,
you're right.
I mean, regardless if you like him or not.
Yeah. Well, Cal was good when Kentucky dominated basketball. It was because of recruiting. I mean, Cal was pulling in 5 stars left and right. Boom, 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 boom. Well, now enters in the transfer portal, and you get guys that don't necessarily go to the NBA, may not be the best fit over here, but they're a junior and senior. They bring them in. Other teams get them, and now all of a sudden, you got some powerhouses that may have not been recruited as a 5-star, but they have more experience. And then that throws a whole nother wrench in your plan. And Cal had to change some things.
I will say this: that we'll go back 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC was not as strong as they are in basketball now.
No,
that's when Kentucky fans get mad at me when I say this, but here we go. That's when Kentucky was dominating year in and year out because the SEC was weak. Now, the SEC basketball is not weak. You could name 5 schools, 6 schools that any given year could be on top.
Mm-hmm.
The SEC has got what you call the brand of coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's okay. I hate to bring this up to you, Matt, but I got to do this. 2019. I'm going to go back. I took a lot of crap. I took a lot of naysays. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But Auburn did something that's never been done before.
Mm.
And there is a possibility that somebody could do it this year. Auburn slayed what they call the top 3 blue bloods in basketball. 3 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
who'd they beat?
Kansas, Kentucky, and I forgot the third one. It was the Kentucky game that made me happy.
Mm.
That's usually what happens, anytime.
Yeah, But what I'm trying to say is, ever since about 5 years ago, when the SEC started getting strong, here come Auburn, here come Arkansas, here come Alabama. Well, Alabama would start strong and end weak, but you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kentucky fans has got to understand, it's like football now. Mm-hmm. Everything is evening out to an extent because of the transfer portal.
Yep, you're right. The transfer portal changed the game, guys. I mean, it really did.
Okay,
you got an SEC guy going from this team to another SEC team.
Correct.
That is where things get really interesting because they already have SEC experience. They already know kind of the ins and outs. All they have to do now is basically meld with another team, and they're in.
Well, let's use this as an example. Look what happened early in the season, a basketball season. You had I forget what school it was. They're playing 5 seniors against 5 freshmen.
Yep.
And everybody was like, well, these are five-star freshmen.
Yep.
I don't care what they are. Them 5 seniors have more experience, been there, done it.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all the 5-star players you want in the first year.
Yep.
If you get a couple of teams with 2 or 3 seniors,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a big difference
Mm-hmm.
in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And like Auburn,
Yep.
I'm going to be honest with you. They got 3 seniors next year.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yes,
all said they wasn't leaving today.
Oh,
They were coming back for their senior year. Is that going to make a difference next year? Possibility.
probably. Mm-hmm.
Because they've been there, done it, and seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk transfers? Liam
Let's go.
Robbins was
I know.
second team All Big Ten as a freshman at Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Transferred to Vanderbilt, and look what we
Mm-hmm.
got to see him. We got to see him healthy for exactly 3 weeks in his 2 years at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
But those 3 weeks are some of the best big man basketball I've seen in Nashville in quite some time.
That's what I'm saying.
It takes me back to the days of Chris Lawson and
Mm-hmm.
Derek Byers and those guys. Ezra Mannion was a transfer, arguably one of the best defensive point guards in the SEC. Again, and we've lost guys to the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Dessou was a double-digit scorer as a freshman
Mm-hmm.
and walked away to sit on a bench at Texas. So I totally get what you're saying about the transfer portal and how it's changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you asked me what the third team was, Chris? It was North Carolina. I can't forget about the Chuck thing on TV.
Yeah, it was North Carolina.
I mean,
I can't forget about the Chuck thing.
North Carolina is not even going to the NCAA tournament.
But I'm saying in 2019,
Not unless they win.
Auburn stood up, got Kansas first. Everybody told them, "Oh, Kansas is to blow you." Auburn beat them by what, 20-something? Wayne played North Carolina the next game. What happened? Oh, y'all don't stand a chance. Y'all shoot too many threes.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can't do it. What they do? They beat North Carolina by double digits.
Yeah.
We get to Kentucky. Oh, y'all can't do it. It's Kentucky. It's John Calipari. Which everybody knows.
Nobody said that. That was, that's
oh no.
Auburn.
There were y'all during that to put Auburn in the Final Four. More Kentucky fans out there down Auburn than anybody I know.
I wouldn't be.
But it was a good game.
I have one thing for my friend Kenneth over here, who, by the way, you notice his name is not Kenneth on the screen. It's Bama's child because
I admitted that at the beginning. Hush.
Because
he's gonna bring it up again. He's gonna bring it up.
There's one team that they did not beat this year, and that's Alabama. But I'll bring up another team that they did not beat. Can you see it? Can you see it?
Chris, Saturday night, like I said earlier, I'm fine with either playing you or Kentucky because that's who it's going to be. I'm going to tell you this, though. I'm going to be a little honest with you, Chris. I want to play y'all bad, but I want to see Kentucky more, and I have my reasons for that. I just don't like the fact of a 32-point loss. It kind of sets bad. And I'm going to tell you this. Auburn sees them again. You see a whole different ball game. I promise you.
But this
we heard you say
go
that.
Go ahead, Matt. Come on.
The thing about it is, Kenneth, this was back whenever Kentucky played in the Bahamas. And this was back in August when Kentucky was, playing some of your pro teams from overseas, and they were winning, when Sheway was healthy. I mean,
yeah,
when they had a healthy, team. I mean, this wasn't just, these were former college players, and
I mean, I understand.
Sheway was injured for, he was, not fully healthy for over a month whenever the season started, and Kentucky lost some games, to Michigan State, Gonzaga. They lost to your Pac-12, one of your Pac-12 teams, that are bidding for a number 1 seed. I mean, and
yeah, well,
just go from.
So
Kentucky's lost some games that they got there.
So
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm not sure if Bama's child over here recognizes the task that they have. If they get Kentucky and Nashville, I'm just going to pull this comment up here. That 32-point dub was amazing. Y'all allowed the atmosphere in Rupp to be electric. Now, if you understand the dynamics of the SEC tournament when it's played at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, if you think you're getting them on a neutral court, you are badly mistaken.
I don't care about that.
Because I can tell you from experience, that house is going to be rocking Kentucky blue, just like it always is. Every single time that the tournament's played there, they come into Nashville and they absolutely own our city.
I'm fine with that. I don't care either way. We're going to get either Vanderbilt or Kentucky. Now,
well, then you need 20,000 Vanderbilt fans. If Vanderbilt beats Kentucky Friday night, well, then you need 20,000 Vanderbilt fans to support Vanderbilt to beat Auburn, right?
And there's a special relationship between Vanderbilt and Kentucky when it comes to the SEC tournament in Nashville. Vanderbilt fans, whenever they get eliminated, they'll sell their tickets to Kentucky fans. So hopefully, if Vanderbilt makes it to Kentucky and that beating LSU, just let me say, I have experience here.
Let's hope so.
If Vanderbilt gets to Kentucky and they can pull off an upset there, let's hope the Kentucky fans do the same thing to Vanderbilt fans and sell us their tickets instead of us having to sell them our tickets. Either way, there's a special relationship and dynamic built in there that I don't think Auburn wants that because it's not going to be a neutral court.
No, Kenneth won't admit it, but it's 100% right. They don't want that. They got to get through us first, and it just depends. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. But no, there's going to be a lot of blue-haired old ladies out there rooting for Kentucky. Let me tell you, it'll be a bunch.
Does Vanderbilt need this game worse than Kentucky does?
I'd say you need it both as badly, both equally as bad.
I think both teams need it.
I'd say both teams. I mean, because of the fact of having a couple of quad 4 losses. I mean, in Kentucky's, for me speaking for Kentucky, the South Carolina Georgia game, that just you never want to lose to.
I mean, Vanderbilt's got a quad 4 loss too, but let me address some quad 4 losses and quad 3 losses and stuff. Whoever came up with this quadrant rating system,
I'm telling you,
when you have a team that's 25-6 that wins their conference by 2 games, how is that a quad 3? That's one of the quad 3 losses that Vanderbilt has. We have 2 of them. The other was LSU, and I care not to discuss LSU because going down there to Baton Rouge and playing in that, it was a slog.
You called it.
They drug it out. Just an ugly basketball game from our perspective. But our quad 4 loss, and people can say what they want to about them, was Grambling. That's sitting there at, I think they're 22-8 now, and tied for their conference championship. But they're a quad 4 team. Yes, they have some bad, ugly losses on their schedule, but Vanderbilt at 11-7 was beaten by 57 in the SEC. So to determine that these conference champions are quad 3s and quad 4s does not make sense to me.
Well, and it goes to how many upsets there's been. I mean, this has been the absolute craziest year of college basketball I've ever seen in my life as far as upsets. I mean, this has got to be some kind of record. It didn't feel like at first, through the first 3 quarters of the year, that nobody wanted to be number one because everybody got number one. They started losing.
Yep.
It's like, dude, really, what is going on?
I think it was eight straight
like
weeks. Either number one or number two got beat.
Yeah, none of it made sense. The what?
Ask Alabama against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
When Alabama got beat by Oklahoma, that was a big blow.
Yeah, I mean, we beat Oklahoma in Oklahoma, and it's like, dude, it's just been a weird up and down rocky. All I gotta say is the ones that are pulling and setting up the bracket, they got a hard job ahead of them because I don't know how you have a clear cut. Here's this one, here's this one, because everybody's got a quad 4 loss. Everybody's got a quad 3 loss. Everybody's got, I mean, it's like, there's been so many upsets, and I'd love to know, there's got to be somewhere where you can find out how many upsets there was, because it's got to be a record. I mean, it has to be a record. I don't know how many times I'm scrolling through on Facebook, major upset alert, I'm like, dude, can anybody just be dominant this year? And it didn't happen.
Right.
You're correct.
North Carolina being the dud that it is this year, that was a surprise to everybody. I mean, Duke losing some of the games they lost. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Vanderbilt has a better quad 1 ranking record than Duke.
Yeah. Who saw that coming?
Right.
Whoever made the bet that Duke was going to have a worse quad win than Vandy is a very rich man, because there ain't no way that anybody predicted that. I mean, it's nuts, guys.
So while we're here,
Kentucky has a better record against quad 1 victories than anybody in the country. But
so I wanted to throw this comment on the screen. Linda Skeens saying, my dad was recruited by Adolph Rupp in 1948, but Dad had already signed with the Army.
Oh, wow.
Dad went on to be Secret Intelligence and then Secret Service to protect the president. Wow. I want to throw this out on a personal level. God bless your father for doing what he did.
Thank you so much.
That's a special assignment to protect the president.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I actually learned something about quad games today, that Vanderbilt actually has the 17th hardest schedule in the nation this year. Third hardest in the SEC. And in the SEC, they played more quad 1 and quad 2 combined games than anybody in the SEC, with 18 of them.
Yep.
Well, 19 now. And they've gone 9 and 10 in those games.
So I got a question for you, Chris.
Okay.
Oh, glad to have you back.
Looking on your computer. You cannot use your computer. And neither one of y'all to answer it. Name me the last basketball team to win back-to-back national championships.
The last one to win back-to-back national championships?
Yep. Without looking on your computer. Matt, can you answer it? George, can you answer it?
Florida Gators.
It's either Florida.
The Florida Gators.
It was the Gators.
Duke.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it is Florida.
I think Florida did it.
2006, 2007. So, let me ask you this.
They're trash.
Hold on. You know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going because you said that, Matt.
Trash.
So, Kansas's coach come out today and said, this is where I was going earlier, come out and said today, he guaranteed
Oh, gosh.
Kansas to win the national championship this year, which would make them back-to-back winners.
Yeah.
Something that's not been done in 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And I went back as far as to look to when it happened again. Before Florida did it. It was like 20-something years before that.
Yeah, no, I don't see that happening. And Texas had
I just
something
want to know
special.
where he thinks.
So,
Okay, look, I got to put this out there. Yes, they playing a tough conference, but I want to know where he comes up with the facts that he's guaranteeing them to win it.
yeah, it's called media. It's called I'm getting all the attention on myself, and that's all it is. It's all fluff.
I'm putting Kansas in the spotlight. Whatever I got to do, I'm putting them in the spotlight, and I'm going to get some high-rated recruits by putting them in the spotlight.
But he's gonna look like a dummy if they get ejected in the first round.
He don't care. Bad publicity is still publicity. He don't care.
I'm just saying.
And
he's gonna look like an idiot.
It's Bill Self.
Can you imagine if any of our coaches were caught openly cheating and what would happen?
Absolutely.
Chloe, to answer your question, we know exactly what will happen. Bruce Pearl got a 3-year show cause penalty for having a flipping barbecue. But so we know what will happen if an SEC coach gets caught.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. We still got Will Wade out here. It's not been done with anything.
Gosh. Don't even get me started on Will Wade. I can't stand that man.
And Bruce Pearl, who 100% knew what Chuck Person was doing.
All right, you want to go there?
I mean, we know Bruce Pearl's got a history. Every school he's been at has received NCAA penalties, and nobody will ever make me believe he didn't know what Chuck Person was doing.
I agree. I agree. Hey, well, let me ask you this, Chris. Back to what I was talking about before I lost service. You ready for this?
I'm ready for anything you got, Ruck.
Go for it, Kim.
I just don't feel. How can I put this without making you mad? I just don't feel that you're going to be the same if Vanderbilt don't make it.
No, if Vanderbilt don't get in the NCAA tournament,
was he going to go cry in his closet? I mean, he'll be all right.
I feel like it's not going to be as fun if they don't make it. Because then Chris is in the NIT tournament, and it's not going to be fair to talk to him. So I'm lobbying for Vanderbilt to get in.
I disagree.
I'm just going to say this. We lucked up and got into the NIT last year, and we made a nice little run. But when we got in, I said, well, hell, we're here. Let's go win the whole damn thing. I don't care if it's NIT or not.
Yep.
If we get in the NIT, I'm going to sit here and tell you, well, we're the best team in the NIT. We better go win the whole damn thing. But
sort of like Texas A&M. They should have made the NCAA tournament
Texas
last year.
A&M should have been in last year, and
I
made that run.
And that's why their coach deserves to be SEC Coach of the Year, dating back to last year. If that's what you're going to count.
And to our fans that are watching, let me just say, yes, the regular season has ended. But we will be here next Saturday night to talk about the SEC basketball tournament.
Hopefully, I'll still be in it. Probably won't, but we'll see.
We will be here to discuss that.
Yeah.
And currently, the SEC women are playing in the tournament. We'll probably touch on the Tennessee-South Carolina game next weekend. Sadly, we can't talk about it tonight, but I will say I didn't think Tennessee should have won that game. Absolute terrible foul call at the end. But, you know.
Yeah, but then coming back from 17 down, you got to give them credit.
Yeah, mad props for coming back and making the game of it.
So are we going live Monday too, Chris?
And then we know that the NCAA tournament will be announced Sunday. So we will come back that following Monday. We'll be on twice next week. We'll be on Saturday night, and then we'll be on Monday night to discuss SEC teams and their tournament draws.
Yep.
Okay, so
I'm in on that.
Can I bring something to the table for next Monday night?
I mean,
you're probably going to anyway. Go ahead.
Let's go. Anyway. I'm putting it out there. All four of us has to pick the bracket. Talk about it Monday night. Talk about why you have who winning.
don't
And
do
go,
it.
yeah, let's do it. Because it's going to be some argument here. And by the way, George, make a little side wager with you. Auburn, Arkansas, Thursday night. You know why I'm riding? If you lose, you got to put War Eagle on your thing.
Oh, man. Okay.
I got one better.
All right, then you got to put Woo Pig on yours then.
I got one better.
Come on, Chris.
All four of us are in the same bracket.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, come on.
So
2 of us will be gone Saturday night.
Yeah.
So whichever one comes out of the 4 teams.
No. There'll only be one of us left Saturday night.
Exactly. So all 4 of us, whoever comes out between the 4 of us, will get to put champion on their banner, and the other 3 have to put loser.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm probably going to be the one that's going to put Lewis on there because the Hogs don't play good in the SEC tournament. But I'd be tickled if we won 2 games. So we'll see.
So we got people
I'm
watching.
ready to make a
So let's get some input from our crowd that's watching. What do you think our name should be based on? We're all 4 in the same bracket.
Yeah.
What should we do? I like that idea. 1 winner, 3 losers.
I like it. Yeah.
So while we're waiting on that, Chris, let's hypothetically speak, George, Matt, whoever. What if you get an Iron, as I call it, the Iron Bowl championship? Does Alabama beat Auburn a 3rd time, or does Auburn outright win it? Punch their ticket, guaranteed in? Because, it is a possibility, Chris.
It is.
It's a great
So how about that?
Alabama in the final.
Good one. That's a good one.
Go whoever is the last one standing. Oh, okay.
Kentucky and Alabama in the finals.
Go Vandy.
The good old showdown.
Go UK. Go Auburn. Yeah, that'll be fun. I like that one. Thanks for your input, Chloe. I appreciate that.
Like
That's what we're looking for here.
Yep.
Hey, it could be on the banner. It don't mean I have to personally believe it, so that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, like that crap I got up tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, because you got Bama's child.
Hey, but I will go on record and say this.
That had to hurt you typing that in.
Look, let me say this much. Auburn played Alabama twice this year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say you this. Combined 80 minutes. 80 minutes. Okay? Do you know how many of them 80 minutes Alabama led? Take a shot. Chris, Matt, George.
It's probably real close.
80 minutes. How many of them did Alabama leave? Without looking it up, Chris. I see you typing.
I'm having fun right now. I'm having
19, 20 minutes. I don't know. I lost.
You're way off 5.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
It don't matter. It just matters what happens at the end.
Hey, Matt, you hush from I lost to Vandy. Hey, hold on. Let me say something. Alabama only led Auburn for 6.5 minutes out of 80. The first game, Auburn should have beat them. We just don't have nobody. We don't have a go-to guy. The second game, we let Miller. We quit double-teaming Miller, which was stupid. And he took them to overtime. And then we got in overtime, and we was already in foul trouble, so it didn't even matter.
Mark it down. Kentucky, Alabama, Sunday.
No, I'm saying Auburn, Alabama.
No, I'm talking about Kentucky and Alabama.
Hey, look, Matt.
Next Sunday.
You want to talk? Look, let's just be honest. You want to talk what would make more money?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. Hey, You know what though, Matt?
Alabama.
As much as I want to play you, I want some get back at Chris.
Mm.
And I'm gonna say this, Chris. If y'all do slip up and beat Kentucky, it's gonna be hard to beat Auburn.
Mm.
Because y'all got a slate ahead of y'all. Okay? I would say y'all have the
every time.
I would say y'all have the toughest slate in the SEC tournament.
Mm.
Possibility. Okay? But I'm gonna tell you this. It's gonna be hard for y'all. Y'all got the hardest slate to get to the finals.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree.
No,
Well, by all means, yeah.
nobody has an answer like up Toppin.
Huh?
Nobody has an answer for Jacob Toppin.
Mm.
Didn't we have an answer Wednesday night for him?
Throw shade.
I think Vanderbilt
just
handled
saying.
them just fine the other night.
No, I'm just saying most,
But how many injuries y'all got, Matt?
2.
Them two's gonna make a fact. Y'all had both of them players when y'all beat Auburn by 30.
Mm.
I hate saying it.
Case and Wallace will
No.
be back, so really they've only got one, and that's
Mhm.
Severe Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm just
I'm
saying.
just saying 2. But I'm just saying that Case and Wallace, regardless if he's there, I think he'll be ready for next Friday
Yeah.
night.
Depends on if
The
he's
winner of
100%.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what happens if Alabama loses?
Good question.
It's still going to be a number 1 seed.
Yep.
I ain't worried about that. Who's coming out the top?
I don't know.
If there's one team that can beat Alabama, it's probably Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're athletic. They're
Alabama's
athletic
gonna have a
enough to
bad
do
night.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
But whether they can
But
do
I mean,
it
as far
without
as I know, the earlier match
Who's A&M
between
got?
Kentucky
Hold
and
on.
Alabama. Kentucky did
Who's
not play
A&M
their
got first?
best game.
A&M's got a double bye.
Kentucky,
Yeah, and I'm talking about who would possibly be their first game.
Mm.
I think. Ain't that Tennessee?
Possibly.
Possibly. What if Tennessee loses? Could A&M not slip in there and beat them
Oh yeah. I think so.
again?
Yeah, A&M. I think if A&M meets Alabama, they have the best chance at beating them. Absolutely, hands down.
I don't know. It's going to get interesting. But I will say this: an odd team wins the SEC tournament.
Yeah, I agree. We've been talking about everybody other's teams, man. I just look at this as like the season of what could have been for me.
Yeah.
Because you got Trevin Brazile coming out of Missouri. Guy looked like a super stud. Tweaks his ankle, out for the season. You got to somehow find that void. Nick Smith and all his knee injuries for however long. And now we're just now finally getting, a group of guys together that can put a basketball team together, but it's still too little too late because you haven't been able to gel all year. It just rough.
Well, so my opinion on Arkansas, they have a player on that team that absolutely hurts them more than he helps them, in my opinion. And that's Johnny Black.
Oh, Anthony Black?
Yeah, Anthony Black.
Yeah.
Pardon me on the name. That kid goes in there clowning every place they play.
Yeah.
And it ignites the other team. Every single game they play, he's acting.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I think that hurts them more than it helps them. So,
Black's got a lot to learn.
Right.
There's a lot of people that say that these 5 stars are one and done and they'll go in the NBA. And Nick Smith may. I don't know if I see it in these other guys. There's some guys I think that'll be hanging around. But, I would say really who's hurt us all year until just recently was Devo Davis. Devo made some absolutely stupid passes, plays, making these crazy 3-point shot attempts way outside the arc. I don't know. It's been a rough up and down roller coaster kind of thing, and Trevor Brazile was our best 3-point shooter, and
he was in
a big man as a 3-point shooter. That's bad right there. You lose him, and then we have nobody. What'd you say, Matt?
Being that Arkansas, the thing about Arkansas not having a true point guard, I mean that.
Yeah.
That's why they're, the record. I mean, Arkansas is a team that don't beat themselves, but the thing about it is they've been without their true point guard that missed more than a dozen games. I mean,
Let's see what happens. All I can say.
Yeah.
So what's the final outcome of next Saturday night? What are we doing, Chris?
I like what Chloe suggested.
Go whoever's in there.
Chloe said for the 3 that have lost, they have to put go whoever the other team is that's left.
So if it's Vanderbilt, we have to put go Commodore?
Go Vandy or Anchor Down or Go Doors. Something. Yep.
Put Anchor Down.
If it's Kentucky, it's going to be Cats.
So that means Saturday night, when we're talking about this, that means it'd be Kentucky and Alabama Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock.
If Alabama makes it, yeah. No. If you make it, I will say this. Saturday night's going to be a late podcast again.
A lot of basketball play.
I'm not sure.
Ain't the last game? Don't the last game start at 7:30? 7:10, 7 something?
Nope.
When's the last game?
12 to 2. I think the first game is 12 to 2, 2 to 4.
The first game is at noon. The second game is at 2 p.m.
Oh, so we can have an early one. Oh, yeah.
Yep. But we will definitely be here next Saturday to discuss the week's activities. We'll probably touch on the women's SEC final and
go Vols.
Give our predictions on.
Yeah, I hope they beat South Carolina. Good Lord.
We'll give our predictions on who we think is going to win the SEC championship game because it'll already be set by then.
Mm-hmm.
And just do like we've done tonight and just have some crosstalk and discuss a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then come Monday night, we'll touch on the SEC brackets, how each team is bracketed in the NCAA tournament, as well as I think we should all pick a winner of the NCAA tournament. Everybody's going to have their bracket done up by then anyway.
Yeah, so I'd say so.
We'll reveal who we all think is going to win.
I have a feeling we're going to be slated against Colgate again. I don't know why. I just have a feeling. It seems like every year we either get Colgate or what was it, Vermont.
Ain't neither one of them. I'm going to go out on a limb right now and tell you who it's going to be.
Okay, who is it going to be?
GCU.
GCU. We'll see.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm not a big fan of them. But I'll tell you this. They got 5 boys. Or should I say young men that are balling lights out.
Yeah.
And they're seniors.
That's what scares me is meeting a team that's
here's my problem with GCU. Their head coach.
Yeah.
Have all the problems you want with him. And them boys are playing ball.
Their head coach went 0-18 in the SEC and set my program back by 5 years.
I understand that, Chris, and I respect that.
And in the process, this is how he acted on the sidelines.
Well, I understand that. But right now, he's fixing to produce a Cinderella.
So I have nothing for GCU.
I understand that. And I knew you were going to say something about it, but right now they're balling lights out.
Yeah.
And that's my Cinderella this year.
Well, I know we're
Sweet 16.
He brought 3 5-stars into this pro. No, change that. He brought 4 5-stars in. and one recruiting class and went 0-18 in the SEC.
So let me ask you this, Chris.
It's coaching.
Any one of y'all can answer this.
Hmm.
Do we see a 12 beat a 5 again this year for like the 16th year in a row?
Possibly.
Or does the streak get snapped?
A 12 will beat a 5.
I think so.
And 11 will beat a 7.
6?
Is it?
That's 12.
Yeah, 11.
It's 12 and 5, 11 and 6.
So will that 11th seed be North Carolina if they win the ACC tournament?
You know who that 11th seed's going to be?
Maybe.
You know who that 11th seed's going to be?
Who?
Auburn. Watch.
It's always Auburn.
It's always Auburn.
Right now they're projected in at an 11th seed.
I know. Yeah, you're right.
They're projected in at an 11th seed. You may tell you what 12 is going to be to 5. You ready?
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Here's a better one for you. This is for you, Matt. They got Kentucky projected in right now at an 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take the tournament.
A 7th seed.
Okay.
So let me look real quick.
The way they were showing it today.
Is what
Just saying. Everybody, all these SEC teams that are coming in at low seeds are going to beat some of these higher seeds.
They are. They're going to be a tough out. I agree. And it's
going to be like, whoa.
Well, but it's just because it's the SEC. I mean, we run the gauntlet every year.
We play the gauntlet.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. And then you get in to the tournament, and it's different. And thank God we won't have SEC officials in this.
You want to hear something even funnier? There's a possibility this could be the first year ever you see a team lower than 10 seed getting a Final Four.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You were talking about we're going to see a 12 beat a 5. I mean, could we see the lowest possible seed beat a number 2 or a number 1? I mean, it is very – this year is so crazy. I don't even know how I'm going to do my bracket because of all the regular season upsets and everything. It's all up in the air, y'all. I mean – I
see Kentucky as a number 7 seed, and I wouldn't be surprised if they shock a lot of people.
Yeah.
A 7 seed, you see 7's going to get a what? 5 gets a 12. 6
gets 10.
What's
7 gets what?
What's Gonzaga projected at?
2 seed, I think.
How far you think they're going this year?
Here's what's funny. Right now, they have projected 1-2, Alabama and Gonzaga in the same bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go on a limb to say this. They never see each other.
No, I agree.
Never. Both of them are going to come out. Because you want me to tell you what's going to mess them up? If they go by the brackets that are projected now that they got out, Auburn takes out Gonzaga.
Chris, where are you getting this information at?
It's all online. What's his name going to put out his projected brackets?
I've got Lunardi pulled up right in front of me, and Gonzaga is listed as a 3 seed in the Midwest, and Alabama is a 1 seed in the South.
Okay. Who's the 2 seed in that bracket?
The 2 seed is Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Texas could beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Texas ain't beating Alabama.
Oh, anybody could beat Alabama. Who's Alabama playing first pick?
It doesn't go that far in depth.
No, it don't go that far.
Oh.
But I'm being serious.
Well,
how far do we think?
Hold on. What, Chris?
Let's see.
Who's the 3 seed in that bracket?
The 3 seed in that bracket would be Marquette.
Oh, hold on. The 4 seed?
Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
5 seed?
It doesn't show it.
Oh, it shows 4? Don't the 4 get up there? Don't Indiana get up there with Alabama?
They would be in I guess that would be in the Sweet 16.
Goodbye. If they make it that far. There's going to be a 16 beat a 1 this year. I'm calling it now before it even happens. I just don't know where it's going to happen at.
Yeah.
There will be a 16 beat a 1 this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's too. How do I put it? It's too up in the air. There's not a team that I could sit down right now and tell you they're the best team in college basketball.
No.
There's not one. Alabama showed weakness. Alabama's played strong. Kansas showed weakness. Kansas has played strong. Purdue showed weakness. Purdue's played strong. So Auburn's played strong, played weak. They showed weakness. Arkansas, Vanderbilt, it doesn't matter who you call. There's not one team there. So really and honestly, I go as far as to say you could see some low seeds in the Final Four this year.
Yeah.
Just because
it's possible.
It's a great possibility because it's just been thrown up. How many weeks?
I'll throw out a team that really hasn't shown any weaknesses. Of course, Alabama did beat them early in the year, but Houston has 100% been steady all year long.
That's true.
That is true. That is true. But
they have some odd losses, but they have been steady. Pretty.
But they have showed some weakness though, Chris. I'm not saying that they haven't played steady, but every team in college basketball this year has had highs and had lows.
I'll agree with you, Chris. Houston has been the most consistent basketball program this year.
They've been the most consistent, but you can't go out on a limb and say that they're going to win it.
No.
There's not one team out there that you can say right now. Huh?
But see, there never is.
Hold on.
Even the 37-0 UNLV, I didn't pick them to win.
No, it's going to be weird, man. I see Chloe's comment. We're going to go back to the Gonzaga talk. I think they're overrated and don't make it past the Sweet 16. I agree.
Yep, I agree.
And I think finally we see the 46-year-old man as Timmy finally getting out of college basketball.
Oh my God.
The guy's been there longer than I've been alive, it seems. It's ridiculous. The day he finally leaves, man, I'm going to be – is he even going in the NBA? I mean,
no.
He's going to coach. I think he's going to go somewhere and he's going to coach. That's what I think he's going to do.
I don't think his game translates to the NBA. But saying that, we still got Grayson Allen out here playing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I hate the mustache.
As far as being a team out there that you can just say, yeah, they're hands down going to win.
Yeah.
I didn't even pick UNLV to win it when they went undefeated. Even though they had Grandma Ma and Stacey Augman and Greg Anthony, they were probably one of the great Anderson Hunt, one of the greatest basketball teams to ever be assembled. I didn't pick them to win. I actually did pick Duke that year because what people didn't understand in that concept was after the way they abused Bobby Hurley the year before, you had to think Bobby Hurley would step up and play a better game against it. And that's absolutely what happened.
And the thing about it is what led to that was Christian Woodner giving them hell in practice all the practices. That made him really tough.
Yeah.
Christian, I hate Leitner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at 2 years ago. You look at 2 years ago, nobody predicted Baylor to go as far as they did and win the championship, right?
Well, what about the year VCU won it? Nobody predicted them either.
Nope.
They come out of nowhere.
And Baylor, that team was all experience. That wasn't a bunch of 5-stars out there. That was juniors and seniors bodying out.
Juniors and seniors and transfers and grown ass men.
Yep.
Hey, Chloe, I'm going to address Chloe right here. Chloe, that's what I'm saying. GCU could be the team that does another St. Petersburg. whatever.
You're right.
GCU could do it this year. It's 5 seniors. They've been together for 5 years. They're jailed. They know each other. It's a possibility. They
So
are
that
my
means
Cinderella
Kentucky
this
might
year.
stand it.
Hey, look, man.
No.
Look, if Kentucky wins it, all I can say is I called it first and was told I was full of crap. And that I was done. Not gonna say no names on live, but somebody told me I was full of crap.
I didn't do it. I didn't say nothing.
On what?
It was before me.
Let's
I
hear
didn't.
Somebody told me 3 weeks ago when I said I believe Kentucky could go the longest in the NCAA tournament,
Mm-hmm.
told me I was full of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'll own it.
Hey, I didn't call you out. You admitted it. I'm just saying.
I'll own it.
I will say this. If Kentucky wins it,
God.
if Kentucky wins it,
I'll say I'm wrong.
no. It ain't even about saying you're wrong, Chris. If
No.
Kentucky wins it, I want Chris to get on a podcast with me with his hashtag and say, I love Kentucky.
Mm.
I mean, I'll do it.
Better yet, I
Well,
want you to say I love Tennessee.
No, you need to get Chris to say I love Tennessee. That's what you
Yeah.
need to say.
If Kentucky wins the national championship, Chris, your thing at the bottom has to say, I love Tennessee for one podcast.
In
I've already agreed to that
2014,
once.
Kentucky
Yeah.
Connecticut
What'd you say?
played in the Final Four.
I've already agreed to doing that once.
Mm.
What
No.
makes you think I would-
You didn't say nothing about loving Tennessee. I had you saying ball reject, and I lost that one.
No.
I'm telling you, if Kentucky wins the national championship this year, you have to get on here, and it has to say in all caps, I love Tennessee. That'll be hilarious.
You're on.
Okay?
And I'll say why I said I
Mm.
don't think they go to the. They're
Mm.
too inconsistent.
Mhm.
Could they
I
get
mean,
on
I
a
agree.
run? Could they get on a run? Absolutely.
Any team.
Anybody could.
I
Mhm.
personally just don't see it.
No.
Will they beat Vanderbilt this week? Probably so, and they'll probably abuse us in the process,
Mm.
just like they did the first time we played them, and they beat us by 20
Mm.
and played with us the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, they're so inconsistent. You can't go abuse a team like Vanderbilt and beat them by 20 and get a 20-point lead in the first half and just toy with them the rest of the game.
Mm.
That is
And-
true.
Well,
and then
a lot
lose to them in
Kentucky's
your own
problem
house.
has been they have been unhealthy. Kentucky has been unhealthy this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
A lot
have been
of
unhealthy.
They have.
It's,
That
it's not that I don't
that's-
like
and that's
Kentucky
no
or don't
thing.
think they're good. They're 100%
no,
good.
no, it's fine.
And-
They've
and-
been a
and my-
very inconsistent team.
And I think Oscar's the best big
And
man in the country.
Till he
So-
gets
And-
up.
And,
Yeah.
and let me address this, Oscar, and let me address Oscar Shibwe, however you say it,
Yeah.
because I've heard it said both ways. For him not to be on the
Chloe's out for
Wooden
blood.
Award finalist is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Yeah, I agree.
That he's not even in the final 16 is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever came up with that list needs to have their head examined. They need to check into a mental health facility and get some treatment, because Oscar
He should be in the
100%
final 16.
should probably be in the final 4 of the Wooden Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Well, there's been some games that he hasn't been consistent. He hadn't been good. There's several games he didn't get in double figures. In the games that they lost.
okay. So now you brung that up. I knew you was gonna say that, right? Yeah, he ain't been good in some games. But what's Chris? Look it up. I'd forget the dude's name. Plays at Kansas.
Okay.
What's his name?
I'm not sure. I don't
Oh, the
follow
big man in
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yeah, he's on that list. He's on that list.
Yeah, he's
let me go out there and say this. And Matt had to go away. Okay. Let me go out there and say this. He is way worse than whatever his name is, at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And made the list. So him having a couple of bad games is no worse than the dude at Kansas having what was it, 7 or 8 games where he didn't even score double figures. So you saying him having a bad game should have nothing to do with it.
No.
Because clearly all the big men in that list has had crappy games this year.
Yeah, it's a straight snub is all it is. Yep. It is a straight snub. And
yeah, I disagree with it.
And while we're talking about the Wooden Award, I'm going to go out on another limb here. I don't care if Anthony Davis from Detroit Mercy breaks this record or not. My boy Pete Maravich never played with the 3-point line.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
And no matter what you say, I will never associate the name Anthony Davis from Detroit Mercy as being the all-time greatest scorer in college basketball. No, sorry, not going to happen. That honor will always live with Pistol Pete.
And LSU, I agree with that.
That's my hot take.
I'll never associate Anthony Davis of Kentucky with Anthony Davis of Detroit Mercy because there's no comparison.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Boys, are we going to go till 4 in the morning? What's going on here?
Yeah, we need to go ahead and throw the curtains on it. Like I told our viewers, we will be here next Saturday night.
And Monday.
Probably a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And we'll also be here Monday night to reveal who we think is going to win. We look forward to having you back. We've enjoyed the commentary. It's been fun this week. Thanks for
Chloe, you got to come back
there and participating.
Yeah, get some more people in these comments, man. It's good. It's really
we
good.
like the comments.
We love the comments. And here we go. We'll end it on this. I will say his name correctly. It's Oscar Sheboy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chloe, for correcting us on that. So, and with that, we're gonna send it on to the moons and say goodnight, and we'll see you back next week.
All right.
Anchor down, y'all.
War Eagle.
CATS. Cats.